I won't love it. Baby, Hey, this is Irvin Griffin, and this is another edition of Grown Man Talk. And through it, you're going to be hearing different tracks. I'm not going to stick with one track this time. And you're going to be seeing images of the Black Panther. And some with the Black Panther and Storm. Because mainly, how this video came about, basically, was I was reading in the comment section of my Ain't This Some You Know What video about Black Panther and all the criticism that he's getting, not from the white trolls. We expected that, and I actually did a video on that too. But on mostly the pro-blacks, the saying, the white man's throwing you a bone. Oh, that plate lip. Oh, that's racist, even though that is part of African culture and such. And I realize I may get some backlash for this, but actually not excuse my French, because I'm gonna let go of the filter, and whatever comes up comes out. The people that want to say that don't know nothing about me beyond what I make on my videos, don't know me personally at all, but just want to go by and say stuff. You kiss my black West Virginian ass, okay? We'll say that up front. Please believe that. Now, I kept thinking about some of the comments that some of the so-called pro-blacks left on there. There were a few that had some legitimate comments. Then there was others I just ignored, because even if they had something good in their thing, the way they started out, like more or less calling me like four-eyed idiot and this and that, implying I was a coon, this and that. Never mind, I made several videos against the racist system that goes on in America. I guess you forgot about those, but you seem to also forget I have a mind of my own, okay? Yeah, there's some things I think we should get on code about, but then there's sometimes you just got to call out bullshit. I mean, you do. You just got to call it out like it is. And this whole backlash on the Black Panther movie, a movie that isn't even out yet, based on a minute and 40 some second trailer, is ridiculous. First of all, and thank you to Prince GMO for sort of backing me up, and I don't want to get him in trouble. If they want to come at me, they can come at me. But the image of the Black Panther, a black man of African descent that is the ruler of a nation, a fictional nation in Africa called Wakanda, that has never been colonized or conquered in all of its history, that has its own economy, has no need for outside sources. In fact, many times they're trying to go in there and get their sources, particularly the vibranium, which has basically been the lifeblood, or one of the big lifebloods of the Wakanda society. Not to mention, they have made advancements both in technology and in medicine in the Marvel Universe. They have unlocked cures that are not even in the Western civilization, including the United States, despite the fact they have some of the top brains there, such as Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four, or Tony Stark, Iron Man, or Professor Charles Xavier from the X-Men. Of course, I know some of those characters are not around now, I know, and things have happened to them, but I just have to point that out. In that fictional world, basically, he is everything that these pro-blacks are talking about we should be, or we should be striving to be. Yet, just because it's coming from Marvel and Disney, all of a sudden, it's the white man's puppet. Oh, look at the villain, man, that's racist, man. I'd be like, look, most of his villains are tribal based, and were tribal based for several years. I kind of hope they don't alter it. But getting back on point to the Black Panther. Well, not to the Black Panther, to pro-black thinking. Two of the more ridiculous, one of them I've called out many times, is calling somebody a coon or traitor automatically because they're married or in a relationship and or have had children with someone other than a black person. Which I think is the dumbest thing. Like, for example, my friend Prince GMO, one of the most black-minded men I've ever met. Yeah, he's from the military, and yes, he does have a bit of that streetwise mentality, being from Chicago. But one of the most thoughtful, articulate brothers I ever met. He is married to a Japanese woman and has a half black, half Japanese son who just turned 2 not that long ago. In the pro-black's mind, he is a traitor up and down. Which I'm sure Prince could give 2 fucks about. He'd probably flip him the bird, pull down his pants, and tell him to kiss both of his butt cheeks. But the point is made in their minds. Yet, despite the fact he has never talked down about the black community, he has never said anything against the black community or even black women as a whole. He's talked about maybe certain black women, but not black women as a whole. But they would still label him a coon. They would still label him a traitor in their limited thinking. Another philosophy I have a problem with is when a black man comes into means or money, that they automatically should share with the hood. I remember Umar Johnson once saying something in effect saying, if you get money and you from the hood, you should stay in the hood and distribute. I was like, not necessarily. First of all, isn't the point of getting more education to gain more money, or if you win Powerball and get that money? Isn't the goal of it, should it be not the party, not the fun? Not saying you shouldn't enjoy yourself. Not saying that. But should the goal be trying to better yourself? Put yourself in a better position. Put yourself in a better neighborhood. Put your family, if you have one, in a better position and a better neighborhood. Take my father, for example. I mean, I ain't gonna go into what the man has or don't have, because honestly, I don't really know, and I ain't gonna even if I did, I ain't gonna put the man's business out there like that. But he lives in a black neighborhood, but he lives in a more affluent black neighborhood. Yes, they do exist. He's not gonna live in the projects. He's not gonna live generally in a regular neighborhood. He's gonna go where like-minded black people, not necessarily the snooty black people, not necessarily the bourgeois, because he doesn't really care for them either, not really more the uppity black people, shall we say, but he's going to live with like-minded people in an affluent neighborhood. And why shouldn't he? He's earned it. In the minds of these pro-blacks, he should still be living in Coalwood, West Virginia. And I'm not saying don't help the poor or anything. Yeah, which he does in his own way, which he does. I mean, I can't go into all the things that he's ever been involved in. When I went to that retirement dinner of his, they named off so much stuff. I was like, good Lord. It took up almost 25. I'm not exaggerating when I say this. It took up at least 25 minutes for all these groups that do help out disenfranchised black kids and black folk that are ran by black people or whoever. Some of them were ran by white folks, but they still help out black folks. He has had a hand in, or he helped create, but you never hear about that. Kind of like with LeBron James, how he's taken some criticism, and this may be one of the few times I ever take up for LeBron James. he got criticized for not speaking up about Tamir Rice. And he also got criticized for not being more militant about what happened at his house when somebody spray painted the N-word on his property. But I was like, what do you want the man to do? He can't exactly do that, especially with all his businesses and such. If he get out there like that, that could backlash him, and then that could limit his ability to help out underprivileged black children and such. Yes, he does do that. You don't hear about it in the media much, but he does do that. And going back to that logic about if you're from the hood, like I live in Bluefield, West Virginia, in a mostly black neighborhood. But if I'll say this straight up with no shame. Let me win the Powerball right now. I'm not saying I wouldn't try to help in some way, get them in a better position or do something better for them, but I would want to make sure that it's a hand up, not a hand out. Because if you got people that just want to live off your dime, no, they're useless. Kick them to the curb. If they want to call you a coon or something, oh, he hang out with white folks, try to turn other black people against you, that's on them. And if if those people are stupid enough to believe that, well, that's on them too. Like I get cats all the time talking about, white people and this and that. And I ain't gonna say there's no racist. Lord knows I've made enough videos and talked enough stuff, and will continue to do that in the future about how some of these motherfuckers are. I ain't gonna stop doing that. But at the same time, I have to call bullshit when I see it. I get guys all the time talking shit about white people, but then I always want to know about how you work up there with all those pretty women. With the majority of the women that work at my workplace are white. I ain't worried about it. Even if they were single and available, I ain't worried about it. I'm coming here to collect this little bit of money that I do get to try to pay some bills and try to get somewhere else in life. I ain't thinking about the women up there. See, some of y'all some dry dick motherfuckers. Y'all talking all this shit about white people and this and that, but most of you pseudo pro blacks, and you know who you are. Most of you pseudo pro blacks, if one of these white women wanted to give you some butt cheek, you'd be on it in a minute. Just like some of these right wing white folks always talking shit about the black community. Oh, but they like that black pussy, don't they? Or they like to feel the penetration of black dick, don't they? Or that, well, what's that other one? Michelle Beadle? Yeah, rumoredly anyway. We already know about Tommy Lauren. Hell, me and my crew, we called that months ago. We called that one, not to get on that tangent, but we called that months ago that somebody black was probably bending her over and giving her the business. But my point is, man, some of y'all just as bad as so-called white supremacists. Some of y'all are even worse. Because y'all two-faced, talking shit about white society. Hell, white supremacy in a lot of ways has already defeated you. In a lot of ways. They've already defeated you. Now me, at one time, I would say it's already defeated me. Until I began to understand myself, who I was as a person. Both as a black man and as just a man, period. Then things started getting a little bit better. Are they where I want them to be? No. But they're a lot better. And mentally, I'm a lot more stable. I do my job better. Since I started letting go of what other people want to say and want to think. And want to draw me into battles that have nothing to do with me. Just because I just happen to work with somebody that pissed them off. But I was like, you know what, brother? If it happened, that's messed up. But that has nothing to do with me. You need to go to her and say that. Talking all kinds of junk, talking talking about the mama and all this. I was like, man, that's junior high shit. That's some junior high crap, man. Get out of here with that mess. Just because that person is white. And I'm like, that's why you. And the worst part is, some of y'all already have women. And I'm like, why are you worried about a woman I work with? Or a reporter I work with or whatever? Why are you worried about that? You already got a wife at home. You shouldn't even be worried about that, man. And don't draw me into it, because I got nothing to do with it. Just because I just happen to work up there, I just know them casually. I work with them, and that's it. Once I do punch in my clock, punch out, I go home. Well, I might go to the gym for about an hour or so, do what I need to do to try to keep in shape and try to even get myself in even better shape. Maybe stop at the grocery store, get a little something extra to add with my food that I'm going to cook at home. I'm going to eat this fresh food that I cooked and prepared by my own hands. Then I'm going to eat some of it. Then I'm going to, if I got leftovers, I'm going to put it up maybe for the next day. Maybe chill out, listen to some music, maybe watch a little TV or something. Then I'm going to go into bed and get ready for the next day. I ain't got time to be worried about this or that or being mad. I mean, some of the comments y'all pro-blacks left was some of the most ridiculous bunch of shit that I ever seen. And most of y'all weren't even making no good points. Now to the few that are of that ilk, but you actually made legitimate points without name calling or bashing people, thank you. Even though we agreed to disagree concerning Black Panther, at least you did it in a civil manner, and you actually made some good points. So to those type of pro-blacks that did, that did that, thank you. But to the ones that just wanted to go in there and just talk a bunch of shit, talk about cool this, oh, you've been taken in by white supremacy and this and that, man, suck my dick. And I rarely say that because, to me it's kind of gay. Well, no, it is gay to say that, but come on. I mean, y'all need, and speaking of dick, y'all need to go get your dick sucked. Y'all need to get some pussy or something, man. And we need to find somebody to fuck your sorry bum ass real good or something. No, but maybe release some of that tension, cause good grief, y'all just walk around mad as hell. Y'all just as bad as the white supremacists. Cause white supremacists always mad. Like, there's certain people that I couldn't hang around, black and white, that I can't hang around because y'all always bitching and complaining, always mad about something. No, but like this one white guy I used to hang around, who I considered him, I considered definitely suspect, or definitely had some racist tendencies. He's always bitching and complaining. Even sometimes when I see him out walking, he be on his cell phone, and I could hear him all the way down the sidewalk. And I was like, that's why I don't fuck with your ass. Well, I say that to myself. I don't say that to him. Because I try to avoid him. I was like, that's why I don't fuck with your ass. Complaining ass bastard. And you have very little to complain about. Because even in the situation you in, you still white. You still gonna get a lot of passes that somebody that look like me don't get. So to me, you don't have really shit to complain about, in my opinion. And that's what some of you pro-blacks remind me of. You remind me of a white supremacist that's always going to blame somebody for something, even when they have nothing to complain about. And like I said in that other video, creek don't rise and I'm still alive, I will be going February 16th to see the Black Panther. And I hope and pray, for the most part, they do a good job with it. Because, it ain't going to be no perfect film. It never is. But y'all already making judgments on it and what's going to be in it. Oh, some gay things going to be put in it. And y'all ain't even seen the damn movie. In fact, the movie ain't even been out yet. Or some of y'all be bitching about, let's say, Django Unchained. And y'all never watched one frame of the film. You just saw a few clips and try to make a judgment on that. Or A Birth of a Nation. Some of y'all wouldn't even go see it. Or wouldn't go support it. And that's another thing with black people as a whole. Even I'm a little guilty of this. we always want to complain about, oh, this isn't being represented this way, or this isn't represented that way in media. We'll find every excuse to not support it. But I guarantee you, we'll find every excuse not to support it. Or if we was thinking about supporting, all white people's got to do is put up something about, like in the case of Nate Parker, oh, he was married to a white woman. And when that didn't really slow it down, all of a sudden they brought up that he was in a rape case. It made it sound like it was recent. Until you bothered to do the research and realize this was an almost 20-year-old story that he was acquitted on from and I might add, an all-white jury found him not guilty. All white, and that's rare. That's rare. So how full of shit must this woman have been? I mean, I know she did, no, but they even tried to apply that. What happened there? Oh, it had such an effect that she killed herself. And suicide's nothing to make fun of, but this was almost 20 years later when she committed suicide. So she must not have been that depressed. In fact, she even went on and had a relationship and had a child. So apparently she wasn't that depressed. So to try to blame it on Nate Parker, all with the intent of trying to put a stop to a birth of a nation, which I hate to say it, for the most part, it worked. It was very effective because a lot of black people did not even bother to go see it, or they hadn't even bothered to even rent it on voodoo.com. Yes, there are sources where you can just rent the movie if you don't want to buy it. I went ahead and straight up bought it. I've only watched it one time, and it's a very powerful movie, by the way. But they haven't even gone so far as to rent it. I mean, I see it in wrestling all the time. We complain about there's no black world champion, but you see all these people will go off about Naomi and Sasha Banks, will not support them unless white people get behind them. Then it's monkey see, monkey do. I mean, there's no other way to put it. If they get behind them, then all of a sudden we'll start cheering for them. Let's be honest. When white folks started calling The Rock, saying Rocky sucks, die Rocky die, most black fans were right along with him. I was probably one of the few black fans, along with some of my friends, that were like, no, we still cheering The Rock. Fuck them. Because we choose to have the mind of our own. Not just against white supremacy, but even against our own people. Have a mind of your own. Now, I'm not saying pro-blacks don't have some good information. Yeah, there's a lot of factual information they put out. But you got two choices when you hear it. You can either use it to better yourself or better your situation and ultimately the situation of your community, or you could use it to downgrade people, try to make them feel like crap, and just be a miserable person. And to wrap this rant up, pro-blacks, you're not going to stop my thinking. You're not going to stop the way I feel or believe any more than any of these troll white folks that come to my videos and want to talk crap. I can't stop you from what you say and what you believe, but guess what? You can't stop me either. Because to me, y'all two sides of the same coin with white supremacy. And sometimes y'all are even worse. And that's really all I got to say for this rant. I'm Irvin V. Griffin Jr. Thank you for joining this edition of Grown Man Talk. And I'm out.
Got me up against the fence, back against the wall, get to acting like a fool, ain't no